I thought 97% of creators lived off of their mom's basement and free watches. Well, let me explain. First of all, the best way to drive this home is to share a little bit about my story. My name's Christian, as you may know, and I have been creating videos over the last 7 or 8 years on social media. I've traveled 85 countries with the people I love most, one of them sitting right there, Ruby, and a little round of applause for this beautiful woman. And I have been able to earn millions of dollars by doing what I love. It's truly the greatest gift. So, this is me in 2016. A lot of evolution, a lot of hard work, and a lot of confidence building has gone on in these years. I was broke, I was unconfident, and I was an accountant. So a lot has changed, but one thing that I remember is back in the day, I was looking for validation. I bought the custom suit, the trendy briefcase. I was looking for my way to fit in, but as much as I tried, I was still living a life of compromise. I felt I was purposeless. I felt lost, and I even hit a moment of depression in my life for the very first time. I was truly trying to fit myself in to what the world and society told me I needed to be, but it wasn't the right thing for me. So I knew that no matter how much money would come over this career, it wasn't the right one for me. I had to make a change, and I did. I quit. But the big problem was, this was one of my better photos at the time. I had $2,500 to my name, and I had no idea what I was doing. So despite that, I want to show you guys my favorite video of all time because it shows you guys that no matter where you are today, there is hope. Prepare yourselves. Do I have to hit click again, or? Oh, no. How do we make this play? Help. Does anyone know how to make it play? Well, this is sad. Nobody? Should I skip it? The clicker doesn't let me do it. Sorry, guys. I am not reenacting this. It's a favorite video of mine, but let's let it be in the past.
Hello, and welcome to my channel.
I'm sorry.
Let's look.
No, that was awkward.
Hi, my name's... No, I need some water. My voice, I'm
Okay.
By raise of hands, how many people in the audience is that right now? Who's in this stage of their content creation? Yeah, fair enough. The good news is it doesn't last forever. One day you can stand on stage and not be wetting yourself. But I was terrified. The box lights literally felt like the surface of the sun. I was melting in my seat. I felt like a deer in headlights, and I couldn't think straight. But the good news is if you're persistent and you're willing to commit to the things you love, a lot can change. But for the first time in my life, I had found my passion, my drive, and it started to work. In just the first year of going full-time as a creator, dropping everything that I knew, all the safety nets, I managed to start seeing some cool results. I also met a really cool alpaca. I leveled up, and I leveled up, and it didn't stop. And over the last few years, I've been able to build my dream life. And one of those photos that means the most to me is that one right there in the top center. I had my parents come here to Dubai for Christmas, and to take them on a very 5-star tour through the country of UAE was truly remarkable. And now the new personal project is building my dream home in Bali. And so the reason I share all this is because it is truly extraordinary what you can achieve through social media when you find your footing and you find your place. So now let's focus on how you can make money and earn freedom as a content creator risk-free. Cool. So there are 2 ways to monetize on social media. The first one is going to be inside of social media. That's going to be directly through the audience you build, through your reach. And then from there, I want to talk about outside of social media. So that's going to be a really awesome safety net for the creators that don't immediately build their audiences. Voila. So I don't want to spend long on this because this is not something that you can't just search on YouTube. Inside of social media, you guys know, I've also, for your curiosity's sake, added a percentage breakdown if you're curious where my income sources kind of add up to. So direct ad revenue is the money earned on a YouTube video before, basically the little 30-second ad. You can either skip it, watch it, but if you do watch it, I make a few pennies. So that's 10% of my income. From there, we have sponsored posts. This is anything from a sponsored Instagram story to an integration on a YouTube video. Maybe it's 45 seconds for NordVPN. Maybe it's 2 minutes for LG promoting their new laptop. But this is a fairly sizable part of my income stream. From there, we have affiliate revenue. I know Epidemic Sound is somewhere in the house here, and they have been an incredible affiliate partner of mine over the years. From there, we have licensing, where basically, as a creator, the more you shoot, the more you create. There's opportunities that one day, Hasbro reaches out and says, hey, can we license this clip? Hey, Oreo wants to license a clip of you smiling with your girlfriend, whatever. Like, there is income to be earned here, but it's not sizable for me. From there, we have fan funding, which is kind of in the likes of the patrons of the world, where you can basically have an audience that backs you up. And it's always great to have benefits to offer your audience in exchange for that backing. But nonetheless, for some people, this will actually be one of their primary income sources, but it's not where I've decided to go. Now, this next slide is where I really want to focus our attention, because this is where the creators in the house that don't yet have an audience, don't yet have a quite strong footing of how they're going to monetize, I think this is where you're going to want to put your attention. So outside of social media, we're going to talk about photo, video production, UGC, copywriting, speaking, teaching, consulting, products and e-products, and then from there, side businesses. So let's go ahead and start with the first one. Now, for those of you that have been really honing in on your skills as a videographer, a photographer, the good news is you can make a great income through this. In fact, I get hit up a lot of the time to be paid tens of thousands and sometimes even hundreds of thousands of dollars to take on these kinds of projects. Despite that, it doesn't actually make a lot of sense for me because I've been able to build an audience, and that's the amazing thing of an audience, is it's quite an awesome opportunity to have impact, but it's also very lucrative. So for those that haven't got the audience, you're always doing a pro and con analysis whenever you take on business. Nothing is free. You always have to give something up when you take in a new business opportunity. So for those of you that don't have the opportunities yet through your audience, if you have developed the skills as a photographer, as a videographer, you're already in the market to be monetizing this. And while I think I'm going to keep video and photo production focused on the high-end shooter, the next thing is going to open it up to literally anybody that has an iPhone. And that is user-generated content. So UGC is the term that you guys should really be familiarizing yourselves with as a side hustle to building out your dream career as a creator. So if you don't know what this is, basically it's the opportunity to make extremely raw and real content for brands. One of my friends came on my podcast the other day. We have a podcast called the Lost Creator Podcast, and Kelsey Vanier, who's a great friend of mine in Bali, where I live, she has been basically making her way to making $100,000 this year through UGC. And she doesn't have a large following. She doesn't even use her following to build this income. What she does is she partners with different kinds of brands. They might be clothing. They might be jewelry. For you, it could be literally anything. It could be gardening supplies, and it could be memory cards for cameras. But what brands are desperately needing is quality content to tell their stories and grow their own social media channels, which means that even if you have no following to offer, you can create content for them. You can review their products and send them 5 videos trying on their jewelry. So here's an example just to give you a feel. She has built her own portfolio through her website. When you go to her website, you see a breakdown of travel, fashion, lifestyle, clothing. And so essentially, if I figure out how to play the video, of course I can't. Oh, there we go. So as you can see, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's just basically shot on an iPhone. And that's the beautiful thing about it, and why we should all feel so encouraged, is that there are hundreds, thousands and tens of thousands of brands that are in need of content just like this. And so you might be able to charge at the start $50 a piece per video. Maybe you move your way up to $100 and $500 a piece, and all of a sudden you're being shipped different products from around the world to make these videos from your own homegrown studio. And as you can see, her backdrops, they're nothing state-of-the-art. They're literally a back wall. But we live in an era where this is a form of relatability. This actually creates for better quality content for some brands, depending on their narratives. So this is a form of content I really recommend you check out. I think if I back it up one slide, you can see there. So on her website, she's got a breakdown: fashion, jewelry, travel and fitness apparel. And for you, again, this could be literally anything you feel is the right fit for you. You don't need to be a woman. You don't need to be, literally, you can be anybody and find the kinds of content you can create for brands. And one of her main ways of networking with brands is through forums like Twitter. She actually finds brands there and she'll DM them because it's a place where brands don't generally have an overwhelming amount of messages. Additionally, I believe LinkedIn can be another great place to reach out to these brands to offer your services in UGC. Copywriting. For those of us that are skilled in writing, and even those of us that are not yet skilled in writing, maybe you've learned to harness ChatGPT and, brought yourself into a place where you're tweaking the message to fit your clients. You could be writing for literally anything, from blogs, email lists. You can do YouTube video scripts and Instagram captions. There's a big demand for this, and while it might not ever be your entire income source, it can certainly supplement your living expenses and allow you to keep focusing on the main mission. If you really dream of being a creator, it might not be sexy to think of yourself as a full-time copywriter, but if it allows you to spend 20 hours a week copywriting and another 20 to 60 hours building out your business, well, that sounds like a pretty good gig. From there, I actually just last night met Cass, and Cass is currently doing van life. And I'm not exactly sure her status on her entire revenue model, but what's really cool is she is a creator who's also supplementing some of her income by being a teacher through nassummit. NAS Academy. And so she is basically on the side of speaking, teaching, and consulting. As a creator who's finding success on TikTok and on her other platforms, she is in a position to teach. And you might think of yourself today as being in no suitable place to teach another person. A lot of us hold ourselves to the standard that we need to be an expert. But the truth is, expert is relative. You are an expert on a subject if you know more than the person you're talking to. It's all it takes to be able to teach and to consult. So ultimately, by developing these skills, you are becoming a valuable asset, and there are a lot of people hiring for this. From there, outside of social media, you are able to build products. And while it's certainly going to be beneficial to have an audience, there's a multitude of ways that you can run ads to these different products. You can do paid advertising. You can do SEO-driven videos that are also SEO being search-based videos, and you can drive traffic to these sources. For me, my earlier revenue models were through merchandise. From there, I realized it's not really my game. I didn't find the profit margins to be overly sexy. Anytime you have to deal with shipping, returns, broken products, it really cuts into your profit. So I tried out presets. Presets worked pretty good. Basically, it's an e-product, which means it's infinitely scalable and there's no inventory cost. There's no real risk of anything going wrong. You just email it to them and the customer is happy. From there, I realized I could lean into more of my strengths with e-travel guides. So I created these exclusive guides to destinations like Bali, the Philippines. I did one on Thailand. And so maybe for you, you don't necessarily need to create travel guides, but maybe there's something you do really well. Maybe you are an expert gardener and you've been growing the best grapefruits. It may sound weird, but somebody is willing to pay you for that information. And while you can definitely give out free information on YouTube, you can make it how to garden with a copper soil or something like that. Again, I'm not a gardener. You can essentially lean into SEO, have people use YouTube or Google as the search engine, find your video, and give free information, but withhold a little bit so that they come on to the other side, buying your product. From there, you've got communities. Now, I've basically earned my greatest income source through my greatest source of impact. And that has been Lost Creator Academy, where I've built a family of 5,000 content creators from around the globe. And the beautiful thing about it is, it's not just a digital community, it's a physical one too. We now have a space that I'll show you in the next slide, but essentially it is a place where you can meet other creators. And for me, it's been an incredible opportunity to, kind of like my travel guides, give people value through YouTube and free information, but to get the entire guide to becoming a creator, that's where I have, a product that I'm able to sell, and it's been a really, really rewarding experience. I think it's the best thing that I've ever done as a creator. Second to that, though, are the side businesses. When you become a content creator, you're going to be blown away by all the monetization opportunities that come up. You won't be able to see them today, but this moment you pick up a camera, you're going to be seeing opportunity after opportunity. It might be hard to see it today as you're standing in place, fearing, committing to the content creation journey, but trust me that on the other side, there is a lot of opportunity. And for me, one of those was to open my first ever physical space. This is the Lost Creator House in Bali, and somewhere hidden in there is Nassummit. We had a party at Lost Creator House, and it was an incredible opportunity to have all these like-minded creators come together. I got a minute and a half left, so I'm going to power through the final and kind of really unique side business. As I said before, I never thought picking up a GoPro and quitting my 9-to-5 was going to allow me to get into property development, but that is the new move for me. I've been really enjoying creating my own little pseudo HDTV experience on YouTube, and that would have never happened if I hadn't taken that risk. Now, let's talk about why being a creator is risk-free. Let's really drive it home. First of all, you're going to develop streams directly through social media reach. You're going to build deep connections with a loyal audience, but there is some limited risk on that. You got to build an audience. You got to find your place of value, and you have to be relatable to these people. But I guarantee you, anyone in this room can do it. It's just going to take patience, persistence, and time to find your place and your footing there. Now, the thing that is far less risky is that you're going to create the skills that are allowing you to directly monetize through what you've learned. Basically, outside of social media, all of those facets that we just talked about, those are going to be the things like user-generated content. Those are going to be things like video and photo production. Even while you haven't necessarily secured the audience yet, you now have skills that are immediately valuable. But the thing that is an absolute guarantee is you are going to become a hot commodity. When you commit yourself to the content creator journey, you are becoming a marketer, a web designer, a problem solver, an entrepreneur, and literally everything under the sun to become that one-man band. And with that comes a lot of difficulty, challenges, but you are going to transform as an individual. I went from that 2016 accountant version of myself to the person I am today because I was willing to put myself through those challenges, and it changed me, not just in a business way, but in a personal way, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. The moment you go through becoming a creator, you will be in high demand for your business, the next business you build, or someone else's. From there, by being a creator, you are being uniquely yourself. And by following your passions, you are going to attract others and create an amazing network that you never imagined possible. Maybe in your 9-to-5 right now, you're not surrounded by inspiring people. That's quite likely. But the moment you commit, I guarantee you, you're going to open up a network you've never even experienced in your life. You will also open yourself up to countless opportunities the way on the other side, like in my case, opening a Lost Creator House. I never thought that would have been a possibility in my early days, but you will also be one of the few courageous people on this planet that said no to compromise, that refused to take the easy route and decided to commit to what you love most. So don't wait till it's too late, because ultimately, it's not been about the risks of it's not the risk of being a creator that you should be worried about. The greatest risk is not living up to your full potential. So commit to the journey, enjoy it. You definitely won't be ready for what's to come, because it's going to take you to somewhere way more exciting and beautiful than you could have ever pictured. Thank you so much, guys.